Back to back. This is definitely gonna go on YouTube the way it is. Oh no! What a troll! Geomancer coming back to life just to end the boss. Or Iron Twins. Again. This is just too good. This is just too good. What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are currently on the test server, guys. We're gonna have a look at the Iron Twins Fortress. We're gonna try a couple of different teams. I'm gonna give you some information on the boss, things that I think you should know, of course. The reason why I am on the test server is because I don't want to make a mess on my account and move around a lot of gear on champions that I would potentially not really use for this dungeon. Now, a lot of you guys might be wondering, is it worth it for you guys to move some of the best gear on the team that does this dungeon? Are the rewards really worth it? At the moment, everything is super scarce in this dungeon. Stage 15 is not that amazing in terms of rewards. You're barely dropping any essence. Is there like a 1% chance to drop around there? You're not getting enough coins daily to summon a mortal stone. So all around, staying to think about it, you can't really justify it to move the best gear that you have on a team that won't really have a great return. Better farm a lower stage than make all this mess on your account. At least I feel like that's the right conclusion. Now, Geomancer is the #1 damage dealer for this dungeon at the moment because he's the only one that has a passive that allows the boss basically to damage himself in such a manner. Brogni has something similar, but nothing near as efficient. We're gonna try a team without Geomancer and kind of like explain you what's happening with that team. And we're gonna try a team with Geomancer. One thing to keep in mind, we are on Magic Affinity. This boss is bugged. At the moment, he has 600 resistance, which makes it more difficult for us to showcase what we want. The whole idea behind it is that the normal bosses, they have 530 resistance, so around 500 accuracy should debuff them without a problem. For this one, on the other hand, we need to have over 550 to become efficient and to land the debuffs, preferably around 570. That should kind of like do the job with the right masteries as well. So we're gonna rely on having increased accuracy. A few things about the boss. Is pretty fast, 250 speed on this stage. So we're not actually gonna try this team now. We're gonna try it after. I have quite a few different setups in here. What I wanna bring in is having enemy max HP. I've already done a team like this before the dungeon was released, guys. Probably you've seen it like over a week ago, where we actually used Vergis in the team as well, combined with Vogot and combined with Godseeker and Iri. They're a very powerful trio. I feel like we're not really gonna get a lot of value on here. That team actually had resistance, if you guys remember, if you saw the video last Monday when I posted it. This one doesn't have resistance anymore. The reason for it is that the boss will drop the Iron Brand on you, and no matter how much resistance you're going to have, you're constantly not going to be able to resist the debuff from being extended. There's another bug that Plarium is aware of. My Mitrala has around 1200 resistance. She's going to get debuffed because the 3% chance is going to proc. And then, no matter what I'm doing, my team is constantly going to get debuffed more and more. Resistance is pretty pointless in the current state. So till they're not fixing that, I honestly suggest you just bring in a cleanser. Doom Priest is one of the best options just for the simple fact that it's taking turns and cleansing the defense down, cleansing the weaken. That's what's very important, and I feel like that's the difference between life and death when we're talking about this team. Having attack down is very important. We actually don't have decreased speed, increased speed in this team. I wish I could just combine different champions. I'm trying to make it work without having legendary champions, without having Geomancer in this team. Once the run is gonna be done, I'm kind of like going to explain you a couple of things that I picked up from here. The good part about it is we don't need to have accuracy on Cold Heart if we want to use the champion here, so we can actually give Cold Heart survivability, HP banners, and all that crazy stuff on her. We don't need attack for her either. Now, if we're gonna have a quick look at the team preset, I don't have the A3 open on Tyrell. I don't have the A2 opened on Doom Priest because it's gonna be pretty irrelevant to have that increased attack. It will help Cold Heart with Brimstone, with the Phantom Touch, sorry, but not anything too crazy. So we have that stop so the boss doesn't gain a lot of turn meter to overlap us a lot. That's my Cold Heart. You see survivability over anything else. Godseeker on Eerie, no more resistance on her. We actually went for accuracy, defense, survivability, and Vogot. I'm going to show you the total stats at the end as well. Mainly was just to see the presets, which skills we're not actually using. Now, probably you guys are wondering, is this team gonna do it? Not really. That's why I want to show you and kind of like explain you what is happening in here. Why we cannot do it with this sort of damage. So, Cold Heart just doesn't bring in enough damage to keep the boss controlled, to damage the boss fast enough. So, because of it, the Iron Brand is gonna increase so much on my team that we're just not gonna be able to keep them alive even with that decreased attack. Now, if I'm going to try to bring in 2 enemy max HP hitters instead, I could potentially have a slightly better chance at completing it. I actually haven't tried it. Without having that decreased attack, my team will constantly get hammered, okay? It's so freaking annoying. The boss hits so hard that honestly, if I don't manage to keep that attack down, it's pretty bad. Now, this team could potentially win with a good RNG. What happens is the Iron Brand increases by a lot. You see 35 turns. I'm gonna have defense down on my team at some point. And if that Tyrell is not gonna land that decreased attack, and if Doom Priest is not gonna cleanse the defense down, it's game over for my team. This could potentially work by having block damage, unkillable, kind of like swapping the team around and keeping as damage dealers Cold Heart, or Armigers, or Septimus, or Royal Guard, or Husk. Kind of like relying on enemy max HP instead of Geomancers. Geomancer is not the key necessarily. Geomancer makes it easier because he deals so much damage. That doesn't mean that people cannot beat this dungeon without Geomancer, and that's kind of like what I wanted to prove trying to do a team like this. Now, unfortunately, it's not really working out in this format. I will probably create an unkillable team for the next couple of days. I'm gonna use Helicat since that was a previous fusion. More people should have access to that champion. And I'm gonna use enemy max HP damage dealers instead. I might actually be able to beat the boss this time around. You see, like, if you're looking around, everything looks just fine, right? Like, it's not really the end of the world. We just dropped Vogo there. We got an unhit crit, maybe a strong hit as well. We had a defense down on him. So it can be a bit of a problem. Not having that attack down is definitely really bad. And because we cannot really afford to bring in decreased speed, increased speed on this team, no matter how we're playing it around, something is actually missing. Epic champions, they are amazing. Rare champions, they're great, some of them, but they're not as powerful as legendaries. Like, just think about Lady Kimi. Lady Kimi brings me increased speed, decreased speed, increased accuracy, decreased accuracy. She will make this run so much better if you have one. So let's just put it in the next way. Without having the right key champions to bring you all the crazy buffs, debuffs that you need in a team, it's much, much harder to make this work, you see? We literally got hammered in there. We had no attack down from our champion, and that's kind of like the way it goes. Everything aligned badly. We didn't have any of the things that we needed on. Now, if I'm gonna show you the other team, which is actually pretty fun because I've done all these teams on my stream while we were live. We tested so many different combinations of champions, and we actually had quite a bit of fun because Geomancer was just trolling the boss constantly. Probably you guys remember this team, right? When I've done it before the dungeon actually got released. This went all the way up to stage 13, and we've done that without a problem. We didn't have the stats to beat stage 15 on a Stag Knight. We didn't have the right accuracy. The reason why I'm not trying this now is because of the affinity. Stag Knight actually brings decreased speed, decreased attack, so that can actually help us quite a bit. Maybe once the affinity is gonna change to Force or to Spirit, I'm gonna retry it again and give it a go. But at the moment, unfortunately, I'm just gonna bring in too many champions that are weak against the magic affinity, and it's not really gonna benefit our team whatsoever. Now, if we're trying this team, this should be pretty straightforward. We have more accuracy from Vogot in here. We have Kurzet for decreased speed and increased accuracy. So I'm gonna show you the presets, then I'm gonna show you the total stats at the end. I haven't changed nothing on Vogot or Godseeker and Iri, they have the same stats. Geomancer, 430 accuracy, 228 speed. We have kind of like survivability. I wanted to show you the difference a bit, you know. The reason why I don't have much accuracy on them, I don't have 600, is because of Kurzet, right? So he's gonna bring us increased accuracy, the low version of defense down, and the A1 guaranteed decreased speed. If the hit is critical, void affinity, we're not gonna get weak hits, and it's a 100% chance to proc. So he's one of the best champions in the entire game to land decreased speed because he's on the A1. And as well, we only have 400 accuracy. We're not using the A2 on him. We're not using the A2 on Geomancer. Again, we are not using the A2 on Doom Priest because it doesn't really help the team whatsoever, okay? It literally doesn't help the team at all. It just gives the boss some turn meter if we don't have decreased speed on the boss. So if we're going on with this team, this is fine. It's gonna do it. We don't really have a problem. It did happen when it came in as a clutch, so most of these teams, guys, they're not gonna be 100%. And I can guarantee you that every team that is non-unkillable, it will fail. It will fail regardless what you're using. Maybe you got lucky and it didn't fail just yet. But I have my Krisk, Siphi, Mitrala, Brogni, and Geomancer failing every now and then. It really depends if the right debuffs drop in. It really depends when the champions are using their skills. It really depends if we're getting crit hits, if we're getting strong hits from the boss. All this can actually happen on every other team that's not unkillable. So I'm probably going to look on making an unkillable team without block damage, so I can use Geomancer at his full potential and actually get the most damage out of it. You see, we just dropped the Kurzet and he really stands no chance. Like, he's a rare champion, his base stats are not that amazing to keep him alive. Even though I gave him survivability, it feels like he's just getting wrecked every single time the boss hits. We have so much healing in this team, guys, with their passive. So we have Doom Priest, we have Vogot, we have Godseeker and Iri, kind of like mixing their passives together. It helps a lot because we're getting the team to full HP pretty quick. And this makes such a massive difference. Honestly, it's one of the main things that allows us to play this team the way we do. That decreased speed is pretty nice as well because the boss won't get as many turns. So he won't overlap us like crazy. That will allow us again to go and heal. Of course, us having more speed than the boss from the very start is very important. So having over 250 speed will be kind of like game changing. Will be a bit easier to beat the boss, but it's so freaking hard to get this speed and this accuracy on your champions. I really find it pretty hard, you know. There we go. Bang, the boss dealt tons of damage. The passive from Godseeker and Iri came in play. We look at all the healing that we got. We're back on full HP already, which is pretty crazy if you stay to think about it, right? There we go. Doom Priest takes her turn. Full HP on everybody. And just like that, you're doing it. You don't need to have Legendaries or anything crazy. Geomancer has this amazing passive. I wish that they would create more champions like Geomancer so we can actually have multiple options in this way. Now, how I mentioned, I'm gonna try to tune a team for tomorrow, full unkillable, do it without Geomancer. So we're not gonna use Geomancer in there, we're gonna use different damage dealers and see what we're getting out of it. Enemy max HP champions are pretty good, don't get me wrong. So Godseeker on Eerie, Regeneration, Resilience, 70k HP, 3.9k defense, 238 speed. If I could take her at over 250 speed, that's gonna help quite a bit if the boss doesn't overlap us as much, because she's gonna take more turns and she's gonna drop the Iron Brand a bit more often, you know, so it might help a little bit, but not enough to keep the team alive, you know. You've seen a lot of RNG matters in there as well to have everything aligned perfectly, but it's not reliable enough. Defense, support 3, we have Timely Intervention as tier 6, just to gain more turn meter whenever our allies drop HP, so she actually gets to do more turns like that, rotate more often. Geomancer, we have 3 perception sets on him, 63k HP, 3.6k defense, 228 speed, 432 accuracy. You don't need to have reflex or anything crazy like that. Reflex helps, but with that as well, it's pretty RNG. Reflex really helps more once you're gonna drop the boss down to the place where he's not cleansing anymore. Doom Priest, we have her on Relentless, speed set, total stats 66k HP, 3.4k defense, 273 speed. I do want to have her as fast as possible. Relentless, the best thing you can have on her, just for the simple fact that the passive needs to take a turn in order to be efficient. Tyrell, we tried him out as well. Not a bad option, but still not reliable enough to make it work in the combo that we had. So these are kind of like the stats for him. He does have quite a bit of accuracy. This is definitely more than enough to debuff the magic boss, but it's so hard to freaking achieve this accuracy and get crit rate and get speed and get all the rest of the stats, you know. Vogot, Regeneration, and I have him on Immortal. How I mentioned before, if Vogot dies, the entire team goes down pretty quick because his passive doesn't come in play. He needs to heal as well. He's only gonna heal by half of the damage on bosses. Okay, he's gonna heal the rest of the team more. So he's gonna die faster than the rest. So I wanna have him on regen to get to heal him as well a bit more, so he's staying alive. These are the Masteries. I haven't changed them since the previous video actually. Then we used Coldheart. I have her on a Stalwart and I have her on Immortal. So ages ago we used to build her on Stalwart for the Fire Knight because of the AoE attacks. Feels like this definitely might come back in play on champions like her, because they're gonna stay alive easier. Even Septimus could benefit from a Stalwart set. Squishier champions, 30% damage reduction on AoEs is pretty good. Total stats, 59k HP, 2.1k defense, 202 speed, 90 crit, 270 crit damage. So she does have pretty nice stats for a Stalwart set. Be able to pinch all that on her. Masteries, we have Helm Smasher as tier 6 actually, just to kind of like make sure we're proccing that max damage. And then we have Cursed Deep Heart. Perception and accuracy, we have 49k HP, 2.4k defense, 249 speed, 412 accuracy, 99 crit rate. I always hate that 99, guys. Masteries, War Master, and the rest. Basically, the entire thing with this champion, 100% chance to land decrease speed. You literally don't... I don't think you have a better option than this to be Void as well. Then we have increased accuracy, which is definitely a very, very important buff if you're not able to build your champions with enough accuracy, speed, etc. It's pretty bad in a way because you're dropping an important champ from the team in order to do this, so it definitely makes your life a bit harder. You have the weak version of defense down. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. I feel like it's reliable enough to keep your team under control, you know. But that's pretty much everything in terms of the team that we use, guys. You've seen the one with Geomancer was more reliable. How I explained this, just because we're able to do so much damage on the boss in a shorter period of time. We're not gonna get Iron Branded for a very long duration, so the boss is not gonna get to deal so much damage on our team. But that was all for this video. I'm definitely gonna do an unkillable team for tomorrow. Stay tuned if you're curious. We're gonna do it with enemy max HP. We're not gonna rely on Geomancer this time around. But that was all for this video. Much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.